Laltu on his book Before I Forget. And may I now request Raina sir and Laltu to please come on to the dais, and while they take their respective seats on the dais, may I quickly introduce Laltu, the interlocutor for this session. Laltu is a poet and author writing in Hindi, a recipient of Siya's Sahachari Samman of Sahitya Grameen Puruskar, Hyderabad. He has published a dozen anthologies of poetry and 2 short story collections. And of course, he has been a part of HLF several times. And I leave the introduction of the speaker to Laltu. But before I do that, may I have Raina sir's permission to announce that his books are available at the bookshop, and he will be happy to sign them for you. Thank you so much. And now you can have the real MK Raina, because for the last 2 days I have been pretending to be MK Raina. When people come and ask me, "Are you Mr. Raina?" I said yes. So now you have the real MK Raina with you. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Vijay. Let me first thank HLF for this opportunity for having this conversation with Mr. MK Raina. मेरी खुशकिस्मती कि इतनी अजीम एक शख्सियत हिंदुस्तान की जिसके साथ गुफ्तगू करने का ये मौका मिला है। विजय ने जैसे कहा कि आई शुड बी इंट्रोड्यूसिंग हिम। महाराज कृष्ण रैना is generally known to the younger people as somebody who acted in some Bollywood films, तारे ज़मीन पर, रब ने बना दी जोड़ी, films like that. Those of us from the earlier generations, we remember him from 27 Down. I particularly remember the novel by Ramesh Bakshi, 18 Suraj Ke Paudhe, and also Duvidha, the Manikal films, also the great Mukti Bodh's works, Satar Se Uthta Aadmi. He is of course one of the, in fact, among the most prominent personalities in theatre in India today. He has been, through the entire, the structure of the theatre training and education, National School of Drama, and all kinds of things that you will also find in his books. So he has been, of course, recipient of several awards, among them the prestigious Sangeet Natak Academy Award, a Lifetime Achievement Award, which goes by the name of Vivekaran. Several such awards. So let me not, give you the long list of awards and honors that he has. So we'll begin our conversation so that you can know him as the personality that he is. So, सबसे पहले तो ये कि Hyderabad is the town you come frequently to, or you have also mentioned in the book that you were, kind of provoked by Professor Anand Krishnan, University of Hyderabad, to write the book. So tell us something about that, and also your feel of the city, so that people in Hyderabad can, see what you think of us.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for coming, Mr. Gandhi here. I have read your books, and I am going to take after this few minutes from you. I need to talk to you about something. It's very Hyderabad, I came as a student who performed here. When Al-Qazi was the director of National School of Drama, we did a whole festival here. That was the first time when I went around. Then I have been coming here to the Department of Drama at Central University here many times. I directed, I've been teaching there. That gave me more time to know this city much better. And my career has been like a drama in theatre, particularly. Cinema just came by the way, because 1970s people think people were in the creative field. That was a very fervent decade for theatre as well as parallel cinema. And somehow one wanted to be part of both. And I managed both. In fact, I say about films, he mentioned these Bollywood films, which just came, I don't know how they come and work with them. Mostly, I have been involved with I call them nutcase filmmakers. But Maniko was condemned most of the time while he's making films like that. Kumar Shani, Manal Sen, Govind Nelani, Uday Das Gupta, and many, these are all these avant-garde filmmakers who gave India a place in the world cinema. They created that place. That is there and that cannot be taken away. And theatre has been by, I started as a freelancer, that is the decision I took right from the beginning. I am not incapable, I'm incapable of taking any job. Like sitting at the table, becoming an officer and then passing orders is not my cup of tea. I had to travel. There were two reasons for it which motivated it. One, I did my final year Viva, and there was this lady who was the secretary, Government of India Culture Secretary. And she had read my answer books and other things and she had sort of liked them. And she said, look, I have decided that we will send you to Paris for 1-2 years. You could take additional training. And I said, thank you ma'am, but I don't want to go to Paris. Which was, entire board thought, what is this, 19-year-old kid talking about? He said, why? I said, ma'am, I don't know India. I have seen train when I was 15 or 16 years. Yes, the train is in Pathankot, where the Kashmir Valley was almost kind of isolated from the mainland. I have not seen Ajanta. I have read about it. I have not seen Kunar. My dream is first to know that one. And second is that if I go to West, they will train me, but I will have nothing to offer for my country. And I need to be there. Once that happens, okay, thank you. I got a call from the piano director saying he wants you in his room. And I entered the room, he closed the door and fired. But his student had been given this international scholarship and he is refusing it. So what do you think you are, etc. I said, but very innocently, I didn't know, I didn't fight. And I said, sir, I believe that I need to know my country, I know nothing about this country. Then started the whole journey, that decision that we have no money, but India is so wonderful and great. You can go on through the villages, you can see, you learn, earn by offering something to them, you take more from them. And I started my journey to Uttar Pradesh, Ladakh, South, everywhere, looking at what is Indian performing art traditions. When I looked at them, I was so young, I didn't understand them much. And then was another battle that to decode all these rituals, decode what is the logic behind each dance, what anthropologically, culturally, and it took me many years to decode, and then I started working in it. And that has been a wonderful experience of my experience and still learning from the traditional artists of this country. And I worked in Kashmir for almost now 1.5 decades during the worst times. I'm a minority, I lost everything, my home, everything. In fact, when you were hoisting the flag, suddenly a flash came to my mind. For 35 years, 1990. This day, 26 January, I had great difficulty taking my mother from the hospital, her dead body, because it was shooting site office. And then how we managed the funeral, cremation, immersion of the ashes was, that's a story by itself, how we managed it. And that's why my book is called Before I Forget. We don't forget these. And how the book is all about the post-independent India's major upheaval that took place. And fortunately, unfortunately, I happened to be there. Whether it was Sikh riots, or Kashmir, whether it was Manipur, I happened to be there and I could see the violence, what was happening. And that impacted me and gave me a sense of about my country. What is going on, what's wrong, what's right, what path should we take. Then I lost a friend of mine called Satya Hashmi while he was doing the performance, very dear friend of mine. And we formed a trust in his name called Satya Hashmi Memoir Simon. Now for 36 years we have been doing kind of an activity, we call it cultural alternatives, which come from the very traditionalism. We call it tradition of diverse cultures in India. We have we have been also sued by government of India many years back as if it was sedition. We had cases against us, sedition and things like that. And the Sanmat is basically an organization of artists, painters, musicians, filmmakers, architects, all kinds of people. We think of an idea and we democratically discuss this idea across on emails. How should we go about it? There is no one idea it's in my head and that will be applied. And for so long, for 36 years now, we have been doing that. And now my beard was black, now it is quite good, respectable white beard. Doing all that, but I don't think where is the end of it all. Where it will reach, I have no idea. And my take on culture or on theatre I do has to have a social and political edge to it. That's what I do.
Reading your book, I was thinking of the general tragedy that people go through all kinds of tragic events. People in South Asia, unfortunately, have been experiencing tragedy after tragedy for the last 1.5 century. And I was remembering Amrita Pritam's poem, Ajakha Varashanu. Ajakha Varashanu, Kavra Micho Mod, Adikatabe Ishkita Nama Vatako. And Amrita Pritam doesn't take sides when she writes these lines. She is talking about the victims. So your book is also, it's kind of a howl, like Allen Ginsberg, Whitney poet, is talking about angry young men of his generation. It's a howl about the tragedy that people are experiencing. You're not taking sides, you're merely narrating what you have experienced in Kashmir and elsewhere. So I was thinking that of all the things that you have written, the most striking thing that comes to mind is your involvement in the folk theatre, the Band Pathar tradition of folk theatre. Maybe you should tell us about Band Pathar a little bit and the kind of different genres, sub-genres that you have in that.
You have two questions. One is about why I don't take sides. The fact is, when the tragedy happens and it hits you, you should have a mind of objectivity. You can't make it as an individual tragedy when it's a wider tragedy. And then you don't go, at least I believe I don't, you don't go for a revenge. You go, how does it can be sorted out? And in my own capacity, whatever is my talent or whatever, in fact, I told in Kashmir at one point, the friends, I said, I am with a needle and a thread, I'm done wounds. I'm trying to do that only. Beyond that, I don't have power to do much. I was at the receiving end many times. I was caught many times in crossfire, but I never lost my cool. I knew we were very depressed many times by friends, their local friends. But whereas if we don't do, who is going to do it? So we continue to do it. And taking sides, you are then not limiting your imagination, you are limiting your possibility, you are limiting your vision, what you want. It is just a reaction, it's not done. About one of the experiments that I did, because I am in culture, for 10 years from 90 to 2000, in Kashmir there was no performance, no singing, no theatre play, no recitation of poems, no wedding songs, nothing. A marriage which happened, boy will go with two people to get married and come quietly home. And when I saw it, it's in the book also the detail how it was. I just decided I have to go. I'm a Sanmat, I'm a culture activist, everybody calls us culture activists. And I said, what is culture activism in me if I can't go to my own state? I can't leave it, it is left for me. And I leave it to people to decide what I must do something, or I mustn't. I have no power, I have no money, nothing. But I have some talent, I think that can help, and he doesn't need much talent to do it. So I went there. First day I don't know where I was sleeping. It was a nightmare that moment when I came out of the airport where streets were empty. There was not a soul on the streets except security force with guns, you could see them. But the guns which were invisible, you could see them, you could hear them, shot here, shot there. In the evening, a lot of shots happening, and bombs exploding. It was really, I learned from Gandhi. I'm very, I call him my rock star. And quietly there's a saying in Kashmiri, which my mother used to tell me, that you must have a capacity to enter through the needle hole. And when you come out, you should be able to come out through an elephant's gate. That elephant gate never happened, but I did enter through the needle hole. I lost my friends, I lost my contact, homes were empty, mohallas were empty, did not know what. But somehow one person met me and I said, can we meet? We met quietly in my room, which was 250 rupees room of a village hotel, a lodge or something. And from there started a journey. That first journey was behind a mountain. There was a little building where our noise could never be heard. And in Shalimar area, near Harban, did my first workshop, created 30 people by word of mouth. From the villages they came quietly. It took them 10 hours to take a journey of 1 hour. It was like that. And we worked, we did everything. We cooked everything, we cleaned, gave them this idea that self-sufficiency is very important. And we started working. And when we started talking a little bit what has gone through, one day what happened about a Sufyana friend of mine who sings Sufyana Kalam, and when he started singing, it's a beautiful poem, everybody started singing and crying. Everybody was in tears. And I had the feeling that we need catharsis, we need to be. And that brought us together. These 35 people over years became 500 people. Training them for 6 months, sending them home, being all the time in touch with them, create little groups in your own village. You take a poem, make a story. You don't need a playwright. You don't need a great author to do it. Stories are all over you. And this morning I get called. I get every day what we are doing. And it's a network in the Kashmir over. Every district has theatre groups now. Now what they have done, and I am now a backseat, I am not a different. They have started doing national festivals, national theatre festivals, asking groups to come and performing there. And without my support, there's no support systems for them. Well, government does spend tons of money on culture, does not go to the people who are really trying to build it. So that journey took me, that was with these young boys and girls. Finally, my target was to enter the village space and work with the folk actors who had been badly beaten up. Their costumes were taken away. They called them, you are doing kufr, it's anti-Islamic performance. And when I worked with them before, long back, the moment they saw me, elders, ustads, I worked for 50 years, 60 years on their art form, were crying. And one story out of that is this man who was playing the Soranai, which is like a Shanai. He said, it is on my wall and for the last 10 years. I get depressed in the dark of the night, I take it down, I clean it and put some oil in it and put it back. I want to put my breath into it, but I can't do it because of fear. So it was, and then instruments taken out from you, your costumes taken. It was what a fascist can do. And there were trials conducted them to shoot them also, big things happened. But then the performer in them was live. I said, would you like to perform if we do? He said, yes, but how we do it? I said, let me think. Finally, their children used to look down upon them. This art has brought nothing for us. It has brought disrespect to us. And they had become manual laborers. Gradually got these children, talked to them, got them into the form, trained them again. Because again, the workshops now happening in the village. And we had no place under an apple tree or a walnut tree we could do. There was no space. But one day, when 3-month things had to happen, 1 hour course at the whole training program had happened. It was raining, so we didn't know what to do. Somebody told me the hospital is being made here. I said, let us see what is the hospital. I looked at the hospital. There were no shutters, there were no doors, it was just only walls and rooms were there. There was rough stone furniture. And I went to the medical officer, can you give one of these halls to us? He just, what are you talking about? It's a hospital. Their attitude of I said, no, please do. He literally almost got me thrown out of his room. But that time my Kashmiri arrogance came to me. I said, you want to be ordered? I'll get you the order. You will come with your permission. I just, as a friend of mine, all the wishes, there are always good people around. I said, look, this happened. And this man threw me out of this office. He said, what is his name? Where is this office? He said, relax. By 4 o'clock, this man comes a jeep. This jeep, I'm sorry, I didn't give you the order. So we went into this rough structure and started working there. And we, after reviving their all old place they used to do, like, in Gujarati Bhavai, you do the Vesh, their Vesh we did. And I bought the costumes, National School of Drama gave me little funds. This Bangalore, what is this? There's an organization, parts in Bangalore. No, it is, Bella used to run it, and more. Anyway, I wrote to them first, they said, no. I said, you have to come to 3 years with me to work on this. They did not take, but gave me 1 month funds. Finding that fund was used, it was for 1 month, but in village it cost very less. We made 1 month money into 5 months. And principle was that we will not go to market, we will fabricate everything in the village ourselves. And these actors are amazing actors. They are weavers, they are carpenters, they are all kinds of, we could do that. And when we finished, we went to the auditorium. We went to the villages, hill. People were on the hill up there, and at the bottom of the hill we performed. It was like an old style. My surprise, there were at least 7,000-8,000 people who had come to watch it. So we got, we can't go into space. While stone pelting was happening, firing was happening, at that time we had to go low, we couldn't insult people because they would have misunderstood. These things are very important when you work in the area that they are in the morning, you can't celebrate, you can't go today, you have to stop. And they respect you and it helps us. There were many these kind of things I had to do, and finally, high point of this, the whole story short was that I asked them, now we will do some other story. We have done our local stuff. I told them the story of King Lear. In the way your grandmother will tell to his children, there was a king, he had 3 daughters, but that was like an intellectual seminar project. They rejected a lot of things Shakespeare didn't like, and many things they liked. For example, they gave me, he said, sorry, daughters will never throw father out of their house. Even if daughter is begging, you will have to change it. Only ladke karenge, ladki kabhi nahi karenge. And I said, are you sure? He said, it's not possible. We'll be beaten up by the people here. So then another stage, they woke up to the whole thing. At one point when that scene comes at the end, when he's in the storm scene, he's almost gone mad. And he's talking to thunder, he's talking to nature, elements of nature. And one of the senior must have, he has become a Sufi. They worked on the Sufi. Pana ho gaya hai. Sabka moh utar gaya uska, koi moh hi nahi iske. And they suddenly sang a poem, folk Sufi poem, which was so appropriate for that moment. And play was interpreted by them or with them. See, and then we went, it became quite a big thing in Valley. Then in the theatre circles, we have come to Madras, Bengal, everywhere we performed it in Northeast. So that is one thing, but it takes a lot of time. It doesn't happen like this. It takes 7-8 years to reach to a point like that.
So, as I said, आपकी किताब पढ़ते हुए जो रूहानी एहसास है, आप जो कश्मीरियत की बात करते हैं, दरअसल आप इंसानियत की बात कर रहे हैं, और वो तो खैर है ही, पर फिर भी जैसे मैंने आपको कहा था, we had a lot of things common in our background. So when you talk about Punjab, my father was from Punjab, so it was remarkable courage that you showed meeting father of Indira Bali. I can't even imagine that you actually went to see him. But there are some things that I kept wondering. You probably will be writing more. I'm sure you're probably planning to write more books. You don't mention anything about the most leading street theatre personality of Punjab, of course, died 10 years back, Gurshad Brother. Did you ever interact with him? Did you?
Yeah, you see, I have a problem. It grew with when I started doing street theatre myself. And I realized I became a little hero. I was a young guy, kid, I went to drama school, I did street theatre as a tribute to first performance was a Turkman Gate. Then we used to do this performance, 5 performances a day. We were really big youngsters who were doing it. But then I realized many defaults in the street theatre. And I withdrew. I mean, the grammar of street theatre needs to be explored. Sabda and me, I always agreement and disagreements with him also. Unfortunately, past day, we would have worked together to develop that grammar. Gurudeva Paji was a problem was that he was a lovely, simple guy. He didn't, in his work, I didn't see the complexities of the situations. He was simply, in that in his innocence, he was trying to lampoon governor of Punjab, that was Naharendra Ray. But he started lampooning the language, Bangla language. I said, this is not the way. Language has nothing to do with, you're making fun of language, but that is not him. And there was, I said it yesterday also that anything you do, if you don't have subtleties, you don't have the principle of aesthetics, that is, there's the street aesthetics, there's closed doors, you cannot compromise. These are the fundamental principles. Then don't give a solution yourself, you are not God. You can only point to it and leave it to people to decide their solutions. I don't think I have every solution. I may have, but I don't want to impose. The play should be done instead of 10 solutions and 10 ideas come from the audience. And they say, this is possible, that's possible, this is possible. That was the problem. And during the heat of this terrorism, we had a festival in Chandigarh. But I found this problem with him very much. And then also, he has become a big hero. My problems I always withdraw. I don't want to enter that area that I'll be celebrated right now. I just keep up my private service. I don't want to. But then you are expected to do some many things. And he was a celebration. Well, Abibi, Yuga Purush. And I know Yuga Purush is a big thing. And he loved to be called Yuga Purush. I can't be called a Yuga Purush. I like to be called a Yuga Purush.
So, well, we should probably be focusing more on the book, but there are a lot of curiosities I had in mind, things that are not there. So, for instance, you have a fairly long list of filmography, but films that you have acted in. You mentioned some, bits about your involvement in films, etc. But I'm really curious about the kind of roles you played. For instance, in Mukti Bodh's Satar Se Uthta Aadmi, which is actually not just a single piece of writing by Mukti Bodh. Andheri Mein and Satar Se Uthta Aadmi have been put together. And also Manikol's Duvidha and Ramesh Bakshi's 18 Suraj Ke Paudhe, 27 Down. I'm curious, what kind of an actor, if you were doing a method acting, which presumably you always do. So, what is the kind of anguish or tension that you have experienced while acting in such films?
No tension. There's the reason. You see, first thing, these are the filmmakers who give you a complete script in your hand, and you can discuss with them. You can agree and disagree on the text, what they are doing. Here, the filmmakers are not actors in them. These filmmakers, actor is just one element. There are there's a visual language, there's a linguistic of cinema comes into their films. I understand and I love that. And in fact, Mani said one time, you are the best suited actor for films like us. Because you work in a film which is totality. He doesn't say, oh, the actor is good job. Nothing else you see there. He is one of the components. There are many, many components in cinema that while in theatre, yes, theatre actor is the main person who carries it. Cinema has many advantages of doing it different films. In films, you don't need even an actor. You can still make a film.
Okay, so I'm now going to ask something which is a little difficult. So if you do not want to answer this, you don't need to. So in the book, right in the first chapter, you talk about the scholarships, and Kashmir has been a very liberal state as far as popular universal education goes. But you know, I came to Chandigarh in '85 to teach in the university there. And one thing, since I was coming from outside, one thing that immediately struck me, that Chandigarh is like few hours from Jammu and Kashmir. There was not a single Muslim Kashmiri faculty member. Now, in Punjab University Chandigarh at that time. So this bothered me. It disturbed me that how come there are maybe a dozen, Raina, Kaul, Cow, in Punjab University. Why is it that a state which has such liberal, generous scholarships given for education is not producing intelligentsia, not enough representation of Muslims in the Kashmiri intelligentsia. This is, of course, 40 years ago, so things have improved significantly. But I'm talking about something which is not there in the book, so if you don't want to talk about it, it's fine. But it's a question in my mind, that what was happening? Why is it that there was such a distinct, community-wise, such a distinction?
Which Kashmiri Pandit has become a great writer, gave me one in these 30, 40 years.
Please, go ahead.
No, not. But you will see that Rahman Rai like poet, or Amin Kamil like poet, or Aga Shahidadi. They did remarkable work. I did 2 documentaries on Rahi as well as on Kamil. But we don't know each other. This country does not know. We don't know what is with the Hyderabad monument. Because there is nothing, what we call the grey matter that is being produced by the writers, poets, designers. It's not available to another state. So how will you know what they are doing? And in Kashmir, for example, it is very important. They had to hide. When I was doing this film of Rahman Rai, he took me to his storeroom. In Kashmir, storeroom is where in winter we store timber, we store sawdust, mitti ka tel, and pulses and everything, because it is winter, there will not be vegetables. He had hidden his statue of Saraswati because he would have been shot dead. He had got a Saraswati Saman. He said, this is what I have to do. And I said, did anything happen to you? He said, yes. I was sleeping, I'm a retired man. I opened the window afternoon and I saw 4 gunmen lying down in my little courtyard under the sun. And then my heart stopped. I said, yes, kahan se aaye? He said, lovely house. You are having great time. We want to talk to you. Please come down. He came down. He's an eminent poet, one of the major poets. He said, you have done nothing for us. So we are going to ask you, just donate 50,000 rupees. We will leave you. He says, where will I get 50,000? I'm a retired person. And finally he found out from the masjid, they used to call them Amir, the main in charge of the area, was one of his students. And he called him and he said, he laughed at me. And I gave him some money, not worry, son, nothing will happen to you. But these things have happened. For example, Padma Shri, Kamil, was hidden because these were the elements that you are pro-India will shoot. There's a lot that has been done. For example, in short story, I think finest short stories have come out of Kashmir. There are some translations that have happened. There are some translations that have happened. Amazing short stories. These are the stories I always remind. Those stories remind me of Kafka sometimes. Even Camus sometimes. How they look at this entire frozen situation. how they look at their helplessness, how they look at the betrayal. I mean, I remember Raisa, I was with, out of fun when I was making film, he said, "तुमने मेरा डर निकाला, मैं घर से 6 महीने से नहीं निकला, I had not come out of the house for 6 months. You take me out and now I told my wife last night, यार इस लड़के ने मेरा डर निकाला है." Was scared, whatever the reasons were there for them. And then I said, "Okay, what, have you composed anything new?" And he gave 2 lines, which means, if somebody, I can't be translated, he says, somebody wishes Assalamu alaikum. He said, I don't know how I to reply wa alaikum salam. I said, what does that mean? He said, in what tone he tells me Assalamu alaikum is, I have to understand who is he. He's a terrorist. Is he threatening me? So I don't know how I reply this. So these are the situations. And I think there should be anthologies coming up. There is. Some very few have come out. It's not true, they're not.
Others like Bashrat Peer, etc., they have also. Others like Bashrat Peer, you mentioned Aga Shahid Ali, so they have their own way of.
Bashar Peer? No, I'm sorry, he doesn't fall in the literary cycle at all. He's a journalist. He has nothing to do with the literature. After that tiny little book which he wrote, and when it came, I must say publicly, one of the bureaucrats told me, why don't you ask Bashar Peer what his father was doing in 1996? He was the commissioner in Anantnag. He was signing arrest warrants. He has not written that. Bashar is not Aga Shahid. And also the people who write in their mother tongue. Those are the writers.
Talking about mother tongue, since you are, in your book also you emphasize a lot that you are a culture activist, you're a people's man. I would have expected that the first expression of your autobiography should have come in Kashmiri or Hindustani, and then somebody would have translated in English. But why did you choose English? Of course, without English, not other people who do not know, do not understand Hindustani or Kashmiri would not be able to read it. But somehow it seems to me that isn't there something missing when you write in a language that you did not grow up with, which is alien to you?
I am not good at any language. That's what it is. All these languages have come because I have to live. I learned English when I was in National School of Drama. Hindi I used to speak like a Pathan. Hum aayega, udhar jayega, so every actor used to laugh at me. I had to do double hard work in the language. One. Second thing, in the Kashmiri language has no reach. And there are 300 writers and there's a joke about them. हम ही लिखते हैं, हम ही एक दूसरे को सुनते हैं. In fact, Kamil here said, क्या तो कश्मीरी लैंग्वेज की बात करता, हम ये बोलते हैं, हमें बाकी बाहर तो उर्दू बोलते हैं. That has happened in Kashmir. Kashmiri people started speaking Urdu and wrong Urdu, 4 words subtly. Kashmiri, 2 words subtly. And he came in for Labi Labi Chalo. किनारे का मम्मी से translated said Labi Labi Chalo. तो वो है हमारा और ये उर्दार की लैंग्वेज है उर्दू. हमारी लैंग्वेज क्यों हमें ऑफिशियल लैंग्वेज बनाएंगे? कहाँ से हम आए उर्दू वाले? न मुहावरा, न कुछ हमारे पास है, न कुछ.
अब काफी गुफ्तगू हमने कर ली, वक्त जितना मिला है, तो अब जरा now it's open for questions from the audience, or if you like, maybe you can read a page from the book. Would you like to read?
No. Told you. I also speak of English. I said, why not? Tell me why not? There are people who are going to translate it soon. Fine. Point is, I wanted to say something. I just told you. The book is basically not about my cinema work, not about my theatre work, about my work which shaped me, which hit me hard, and I sustained. I got those curves which you get in some kind of a sculpture. I didn't become a lut, take a lut and start teaching the people. That is what.
Okay, so questions from the audience.
Thank you for coming to Hyderabad. And what I want to ask is that you work extensively in Kashmir. How do you see the same representation in Bollywood? The way what we see in cinemas is what we tend to understand that what people will be going through. But except for terrorism, we don't hear much about the people that you've talked about in the work. So why that has not happened so far in Bollywood or in any movie industry?
What do you expect from a mall? Lovely windows, beautiful lighting, everything is shining, and that sells. And then this entire Bollywood industry is that mall. They don't waste time in what India's reality. They don't even open their mouth unless it affects them. It is the regional cinemas which should do it. It has done in Bengal, it has done in, even here it has done it has done in Kerala. That needs to be strengthened. And we have started doing, as my youngsters, we have just done a Kashmiri film of 1 hour. And these are the children whose parents had run away, migrant children, came with me to Kashmir in September. We shot this film. First time they were acting the valley, but they heard about it, but that in a beautiful script. And it was so rare. We entered it's called Pandit Street in a Patkocha, and empty houses. Suddenly I realized these children have these are their homes. And some are in rubble, some are broken, some are empty. And within that village we were shooting the film. Yes, neighbors came, they were very good to us, with that cooperation happened. And we have started of how long we will talk about our Kashmir ourselves. I know this what you are handicapped. Everybody wants to make money out of Kashmir. What is Abala's Jesus? That is it, Abala's Jesus. I was asked to write review for that film, Kashmir Files. I avoided that. I heard of it. Finally, I saw the film. Twice I went to sleep. It was so bad. But if the Prime Minister of a country, Home Minister of a country, gives it a clean sheet, a wonderful film, etc., etc., etc. And now the result is they gave chits to other films. They have financed these films.
Yes.
Emergency, all this. There's a line of this film. All have bought. I think they learn a lesson. What is a good film and what is not a good film.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
नमस्कार महाराज
Namaskar.
कुछ बात को जो वीडियो पढ़ खुशी गई तो I'm Dr. Subhadra from Hyderabad Laltu Institute, and I just want to say that there is no school teaching of Kashmiri language in Kashmir as per Nizam Kaushal. That is one of the only languages in the 8th schedule where there is no schooling, teaching, writing. We are still fighting whether Kashmiri language should be in Sharda script, it should be in Devanagari script, or it should be in the Arabic Urdu script. So we have not even crossed the first hurdle of deciding. So you can see why Mr. Raina, who is my cousin's uncle, has not been able to write in Kashmiri. Very few people are able to write in Kashmiri. It's very difficult to write. We don't have that syntax. But I hope that the current digital revolution will allow us to write better. And I just wanted to say that, my children, they're all born here. And when they were here, they used to feel rootless. Because they would have friends who were Gujarati and they will go for Garba. And they will have Bengali friends and they will go for Durga Puja. And then they'll say, हमारा कुछ नहीं है, हमारा कुछ नहीं, मैं अपने फ्रेंड्स को कब बुलाऊंगा, हमारा क्यों कुछ नहीं. It was very difficult to tell him, as there's a joke. As Chupanon Shivratri, we are having so much culture, tradition of Shivratri. For days together we celebrate. We have so much of beautiful, songs for our Shagun. I was so surprised, Raina साहब मुझे अभी पता चला कुछ दिन पहले ही हम लोग वनमोन सीख रहे थे. I was so surprised कि जो हमारे शादी के गाने हैं उसमें सुभद्रा का जिक्र है. मेरा नाम सुभद्रा है. मैंने हमेशा सोचा मेरे नाना जी ने सुभद्रा नाम रखा था महाभारत की, जैसे वो संस्कृत पर्शियन के स्कॉलर थे. But I was surprised that in the लोक संगीत is sung on the marriage ceremonies of women in Kashmir. Subhadra is repeatedly talked about in those songs, and she represents the sister and the Bua of the family. So yes, we have a lot of culture, we ourselves don't know about it. How are we going to convey to others? And we are thankful to Raina Saab for the years working in some information. And I am not talking only of Kashmir. Let's say Manipur. How many of us know what is Manipur, what is happening there, what is their language, what is their culture? No, we
मैम जरा रैप कर ले, दूसरे लोग भी सवाल पूछना
I'm
चाहते
just
हैं.
saying that
I have some. I have to respond to that. Can I respond? I understand what you say.
if we interact more like this, then we know each other better.
I understand your pain, but I also have a complaint to the parents. There's great literature from the 6th century of the great writers of Kashmir. They are in translation in English and Hindi. Why don't we teach these to our children? We can do that. गाना बजाना तो that will happen, but जो base है, we don't, nobody does. I mean, tell them who is Kalan, who is Bilan, who is Shemendra, who is Anandvardhan. They have no clue. These great minds that were there. In this fight against Nastaliq script and Sharda script, right, long back, we have to accept it. But what is being denied by not learning Nastaliq is the great literature that has come from the 13th century of Kashmiris in date. All Kashmiri Pandits used to write in Nastaliq script. Dinanath Nadim and Kashmir, all these guys. So it is our limitation. We have to ask ourselves. We can't blame anybody.
तो वैसे वाकई खुशबू साहब तो कही गए थे, अगर फिरदौस रू बरज़मी अस्त अमी अस्त हमी अस्त हमी अस्त, तो वो जन्नत तो था, पर जो हाल
Kashmiris today, when you quote this thing, they say this is our curse. That's what we are suffering.
Yeah, the tragedy that Kashmir has gone through, and obviously everyone in South Asia feels that pain. So any further question? Do we have any more time? Over? Okay, we can take one more question. Yeah.
So, thank you for the session, sir. So, I'm a theatre artist, and I would like to ask you about how modern theatre artists should be made aware of the cultural roots, and because nowadays a lot of with OTT coming, more obviously they are inclined towards the commercial aspect of acting and less towards the craft. So how can we ensure that the artists themselves learn the craft first?
I'll give one which I have learned. I have done the Western training. I have done all Shakespeare, Brad, Greeks, etc. I've forgotten. I feel I'm rooted now here when you talk about actors' craft. Please don't read Stanislavski. Don't read Western actors. Try to understand Indian actor or Asian actor. This is the rare species of acting. This is his best. Asian actor or Indian actor, you saw these ladies. They are dancers, they are acrobats, they sing, they act, they make their own costume, they don't need great lights to the performance, they are under sunlight. It is a multidisciplinary craft that makes this total acting, which you see in Kathakali, you see anywhere, not in the West. We did a play, Macbeth in Delhi, which was supposed to go to the London Festival. The representative from there came and said, you can't take it there. You can't have songs in Shakespeare, they have got unions and some problem. I said, what we do, a day in and day out, we sing, and this is our form. I think we need to return back to, not as a Hindu begot, Meri Sanskriti, no. Scientifically find the modern seeds and contemporary seeds in our traditional knowledge. And there are great things in knowledge.
At that note, like all good things, this conversation also comes to an end. बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया आपका, और मेरे लिए तजुर्बा यादगार रहेगा लंबे अरसे तक. आप सबका भी बहुत शुक्रिया कि आप सब यहाँ आए, एंड आई ऑल्सो थैंक HLF, एंड ऑन बिहाफ ऑफ HLF आई थैंक यू ऑल. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, M.K. Raina sir and Laltu sir. This was a very thought-provoking session.